Right? Hello.
Hello. Welcome, guys. This is vlog episode 35, and we have a very, very special guest. We have the amazing Teymur Phell. He's an incredible musician and bass player.
Do my best. Thank you. Wow.
Sure do. Also a very good friend. He's touring all over the world with Mike Stern, and to name a few, he's probably one of the most incredible bass players I know. And
Hi.
Yeah.
We're having a lot of fun today. We're jamming for a while.
Yes.
You're kicking my ass as always.
Nah. So I kind of wanted to just take the opportunity and just ask you a little bit of advice and questions for the hang in the vlog. And I kind of want to ask you first maybe a little bit about like some advice on music and guitar. Bass. I'm thinking about guitar,
Yeah.
but just like how you go about things when you practice. If you can just share a few thoughts, that would be great.
All right. Well, lately what I've been doing is trying to figure out what stuff I'm good at and get better at that, and also trying to figure out what I suck at and get better at that. So like two different aspects of my practice. And I tell a lot to students and just everybody who asks me about it, about playing bass, is especially today, everybody's so much into soloing and playing a bunch of lines and all that stuff. And I feel like a lot of people jump into that a little bit too soon, or spend too much time doing that, and they don't get the bass playing part of it down first. Because I don't think you can really get hired too much playing solos. You know what I mean? Like you can be an incredible soloist, but if your comping is not really good, you're not gonna get any work. So I feel it's way more important to work on just bass playing, bass lines and feel, and kind of learn how to listen and react in a positive way. And then also, of course, I practice soloing all the time, but I also do the other thing, which is just getting the bass line down. That's very important. So I think if there would be one thing I'd focus on, or one advice I'd have to give, is really learn how to be a bass player first before you do anything else.
Mm-hmm. And specifically about like groove and time and feel, if you can maybe give like an example or an exercise that you think was really helpful for you in developing your like incredible feel and time, like what, or maybe an exercise or two that you're like, this is a good one to kind of share.
So definitely work with the metronome a lot. There was a period in my life where if I didn't have a battery in the metronome, I wouldn't be practicing. You know what I mean? Like I always had that thing on. But then also cut it off and see how you do without it, and record yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you record yourself or listen back, and then you can tell. Something I've been doing lately is, just to develop the right hand, I would just kind of just sit on one note, and I would go, like if the metronome is here, I'd just go like, and then go to, jump back and forth between
the subdivision. So basically you were doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 6.
Exactly, and then do it, come to a point where you feel comfortable doing it, and then go a little back tempo-wise, if it's on 70 BPM or 75, and then try to go to 85 to see how you feel, and see how long you can do it, because you can get that.
Right, the consistency.
Yeah, but can you do that for 5 minutes straight?
Right.
And then make sure that your hand is not hurting.
Right.
Because I would play like this for 3 minutes and I'd go like, you know, I would try to figure out a way, because then you know you're doing it right. If nothing hurts, and you can still get that kind of speed. But that's not so much for groove or for.
No, but I think this is great because also like just the idea of kind of internalizing something that is simple. I mean, we all know how to play like subdivide, you know, 1 to 4 or 5, you know, 6. But again, like internalizing to such a great extent, so it's not only valid for like 1 second, you can really do it for, like you said, 5 minutes and hold it really tightly. That feels great in the body and it feels really good and sounds really good. So it's not just it's like taking it another step basically.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if I can't play one note for, let's say, 30 seconds, let's say playing 6 stoplets or whatever, how am I gonna do that playing on the, you know, playing like longer lines in time? It's hard, you know what I mean? Sometimes it's easier to play
because of the string switching, or
because you can get away with not plucking every note.
I see.
So I think it's also important to practice, like if you're playing some lines. Even a good exercise, if we're talking about jazz, is just to choose like a tune or blues or something and just try to play straight at 8 notes through with not stopping.
Totally.
Just to see if you can do it.
Yeah.
We don't want to we want to be artistic and we want to play different rhythms. We don't want to just play 8 notes, but just as an exercise, see if you can, even take like an F blues, see if I can go. You know, just keep going like that, see if you can pull something like that off.
For sure.
And try to pluck every note, you know. You know, and I don't want to play like that when I'm playing a gig, but I just want to practice.
You want to have the option, right? Like basically, I mean, I think like in that sense, like you want to play what you play out of choice, and that, you know, you have the choice to play a lot of notes or not playing them. You can be consistent if you want, but you need to be able to do that. Like,
yeah, kind of like a mechanical swing, and you know, and I'll try to make it swing on purpose in a way where I'll emphasize some notes. You know, I'll go. You know, just as an exercise, because later if I play and I do 3 seconds of that could sound good. You know, like. Yeah, just play a little bit for a second, and that sounds nice.
Right.
Just to have different dynamics in your playing.
For sure.
Another thing is, I've been talking about this lately a lot, is exaggerate when I'm practicing. If we're talking about walking bass, let's say 4/4, exaggerating on the 2 and 4, just to get that feel. So if I'm going. Obviously, I'm not gonna play like this, right? It's horrible. But
so what's the idea?
The idea is just to, and then you bring that down a notch, and then you just give a little bit more on the 2 and 4 when you actually play, and that kind of makes it, you know.
It's like filling the bass drum, just like controlling that a little bit.
Yeah, that would be like this maybe.
And when you play like with, we're just talking about some tours you were doing with Lenny White or other drummers. I mean, again, you play with all of them. Dennis Chambers, you know, every great drummer that is basically alive. Do you like? Is there something that you do mentally to lock up with these guys before, you know, the first time you kind of play with them before the tour? I mean, you know the music, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
100%, but just like in the connection with a new musician.
I mean, I think when it comes to drummers, first of all, I always try to do my best to play how I play. Like, I wouldn't like to change too much the way I play for the drummer, because in a way, I guess that the way I play is what got me to the gig.
Right.
So I kind of want to play how I play, but I mean, some people it's easier to click with real fast, it's natural. Some people have a different stretch of time. So, you know, sometimes I feel like the drummer and I are in the same place.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's one thing. Sometimes I feel that I'm playing with a drummer who will stretch out a lot more, and it's kind of more my job to keep it, to keep the middle of the beat and let them stretch. Right? And sometimes I feel like I'll play with a drummer and naturally will be in the same place. So it's just everybody's so different. But in a way, you still kind of want to play how you play.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's important.
Cool.
Like we're just talking about, one mentioning names, but this famous musician who asked me to do a gig, and then and they wanted me to play a 4-string bass.
Right.
Which is great. I love 4-string bass, but I said, do I need to, on this gig, to play some of my shit? You know, like can I say that? Play some of my stuff.
For sure. Yeah.
And he said, yeah, you get the solo. And I said, well, then I gotta kind of use my bass because that's my instrument.
Right.
And he said, no, but I want a 4-string. I said, is that an aesthetic thing that you want? You know, because it's very important to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
In any situation that you are, because I guess if you get somewhere in life, it's because of who you are. You know what I mean? So don't change too much for anybody else, but
So cute.
but yeah, trying to adapt, and it's just having a good vibe and good attitude, and trying to play with as many people as you can, and trying to make it work.
Yeah.
That's it. You know?
In that sense.
Hey, you know we're doing the vlog, right?
Oh no, it's great. It's great.
Right now.
Hello. Join the vlog. Maybe I'll ask you one more question, like about just your perception about, I guess, career-wise. Like you moved to New York from Israel as well. We're both from Israel, and what was your approach, and like how did it happen for you?
I finished college in Israel. I got like my bachelor's degree, and then I wanted to do a master's because I wanted to get a student visa to come here, because I guess that would be my ticket in, right? Like how else do you get here? And so I applied to the City College in New York for the master's program, and it didn't take. They said no, and then I said, you know, I gotta. I'm still going somehow. I gotta go, and I got a ticket and just came here on a regular tourist visa, right? And kind of started from there and start meeting people, and everybody said, you know, you gotta go to jam sessions and, you know, trying to get something done like that. And I did a bunch of that. I won a lot of Fat Gas, Malls, all that stuff, and I got a couple of gigs from that. And then, I mean, I guess I kind of knew the people that I wanted to play with, the people.
Yeah,
that
I want to
liked.
hear. I want to hear the story. I want to like, cause I know you have a special story, and I think.
Well, I don't know if it's really special. It's just I guess I was just. You're talking about Stern?
I mean, I'm talking about the way you approach your career. I think you're very, very. You know what you want, and you're going for it full power. And I think that's, first of all, very inspiring. And second, I mean, yeah, I want to hear it.
I always wanted to. I always thought that practicing and getting good is, first of all, the number one thing on the list.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people who would ask me the same question from Europe or from other places around the globe, or even from different states in America who want to come to New York. They ask me, like, you know, do you think I should do it? And sometimes I would hear them play, and I would sometimes say, I think if you got a gig back home for a minute, just keep it, you know, because you're working, but keep practicing more. I think that the gap between your dreams and how you play has to be a narrow gap.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because in New York, everybody's great, right? A lot of people sound amazing. Everybody everybody wants to come here and play, and there's a lot of players and a lot of music going on. So the least you can do is first be confident that you are you feel that you're good enough to come.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people never feel comfortable, like never feel that they can come to New York in a sense of like it's never.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, we all do this jump and hope for the best, and we practice and
Yeah.
but
That's what it
also, I mean, I think New York kicks your ass no matter what, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like on so many levels, emotionally, musically.
To this day.
To this day, for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, I understand what you're saying of like making the gap smaller between what you want and how you want to sound and like kind of being ready. But I
Yeah.
think also in a way you never feel ready, right? Yeah, maybe in a way.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, you can't really be just, you know, you just, exactly like you said, you hope for the best and you just do it.
Yeah.
So definitely, if you want to do it, yeah, you gotta go ahead and try, because then you can say at least try it. But then hopefully, but also figure out who you want to play with and people that you like. Try to connect with them somehow, and you know.
So what did you do to like basically kind of like start working with Stern and all these, you know, great musicians that you travel with all the time?
I mean, I think I figured out a way to meet these people and to play with them.
What was the way?
I mean, talking to them first.
Talking to them? Okay,
Yeah,
no, like say like I have no idea. Like I'm like you know, I'm playing saxophone and my heroes are so and so. You know, I just
Yeah.
want to like. I want to hear the blueprint of like your conception. I mean, obviously for you it worked amazingly.
You know,
It doesn't mean that
it would be, yeah, exactly. It would be a different recipe for everybody.
right.
You know, the way you sound and play, your attitude. I mean,
But you
your yeah. But
Yeah.
you kind of, I think I was just like very clear and straightforward with the people I wanted to play with. I just said, you know, I want to play. I mean, this was
so
it.
you basically came up to Mike and be like, we never
No, with
met,
Mi-
or
with
like
Mike, it was a little. Yeah, I the only times I've seen him before I moved to New York was a bunch of big festivals and you know, big stages.
right.
So in New York, he was playing at the 55 bar,
Right.
which, like, you know,
Yeah.
it's a little dive bar
Yeah.
on Christopher Street, and I couldn't believe that he's doing it. You know, 'cause,
Right.
You know, he's like a.
Yeah, it's Mike's right.
It's
Yeah.
Mike's right. Yeah, I can't believe he's playing this little place, and I used to go, and he was playing back then. I think Richard Bono was playing bass. Anthony Jackson was doing the gig, and I used to come down every week to every gig he played and just sit there. First of all, because I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a lot of fun. And then, after a couple of times, I felt like, you know, I would really like to do this gig.
Yeah, and you
I
actually.
don't know if I mean, I just felt like there was something I wanted to do, right? So I walked up to him and said, you know, hi, my name is this and that, you know, I love this stuff, and you know, I'd love to play, you know. And I think the first time I came out there, he said something like, yeah, great, man. I'm sure you sound awesome. You know, I got a bunch of great bass players I play with. But great, man. Keep going. You know, never give up. Something like that, right? And that was it. And then I came again the next week, and it was kind of the same story. And then I came up, and then a few weeks like that. And then I got drunk one night on Guinness, and you know, a bunch of liquid courage, right?
Yeah.
So I walked up to him like, a little bit like that, shake, you know, kind of all over the place. And I said, look, man, I gotta play. I wanna play. I don't care about anything else. All I wanna do is play. I'll meet you anytime, anywhere. Get my bass. Let's play. Let's do it. And you know, and I feel like, you know, at that moment he kind of saw that I was really serious, and that not just serious, but that I cared a lot about just playing.
Yeah.
I love playing, and I think he saw that. And then he said, give me your number. So I gave him my number. I wrote it down on the 55. I didn't have like a business card or anything, but I wrote it down on a 55 bar ticket, you know, those little tickets.
Yeah.
And I was like, great, you know, and he never called me. And then I think he went on the road probably, and a couple weeks later he was back playing there. And I came down again, and the same story. And then he said, "Oh, great! Give me your number." I was like, what's wrong with this guy? Like, I gave him my number. Yeah, this is fucking pointless, right? So I gave him my number, and then the next day he called me, and he said, hey man, what's your name? Trevor. He couldn't pronounce my name. He's like, what's your name? Like, you said you wanted to play, right? I was like, yeah, I want to play. He's like, all right. So I live on, here in this. Come over at 8 o'clock. But if you have a date or something, if you have plans, don't cancel it for me. Like, if you got something going tonight, right? And I was like, I got nothing going tonight.
It's like,
I have nothing. I have no plans, right?
yeah.
I was like 23 years old. And so I went over that day, and he buzzed me in. I went up, and the door was kind of open. The door to his apartment was open, and I didn't know, do I like knock because it was dark, or if it's open it means I should get in. So I walk in, and then I hear guitar all the way on the other side of the house somewhere, right? And I just turned on the light in the hallway, and there was like 5 cats. Some of those like Egyptian, cats with just between my legs. It was a little weird. And I just kind of walked into his room. I followed the sound. I got to his room where he was sitting playing, and he said he kind of like never even stopped playing as I walked in, and he said, plug in. And he didn't have a bass amp. I just plugged into another like twin reverb or something. And he said, and his head was down like this. He was already in the midst of like a blues chorus or something, just on his own. And then I just started walking behind him, and like 5 seconds later, he went like this, like he looked up, and I guess he liked it, right? So we kept playing for a couple hours, and
just like standards and stuff.
Yeah, just standards. Like we played. I don't remember what it was. Just tunes.
You also know, you knew all his music before.
No, I didn't know anything.
No.
No.
Oh, I thought you knew his music.
I didn't know any of it.
Interesting. No. Okay.
But I mean, I knew it from listening to it on the gig.
Right.
But I never tried to learn it.
Okay.
I guess, yeah. And then we're done playing. A couple hours later, he said, you got any time tomorrow morning? Can you come back and we'll play some more? And I think that's where I realized that he was digging it. So I said, yeah, of course. And that's kind of how we hooked up.
That's awesome.
And then we played, it's probably 9 or 10 months of playing together, just practicing like that. Never played these tunes. Always played standards, Coltrane tunes.
And 9 months before, and
I don't know, 9 or 10 months before I got a gig.
Wow.
Yeah, but we practiced a lot, and in a way it was like we never practiced his music. We just played standards. So in a way it was, and a lot of times he would stop in the middle. I was like, check this out, and be like, for example, it's like, check this out. You get these 2 triad, for example. It's like, and then invert those, and you get a cool little thing that would work over, let's say, an A dominant or B flat. Just show me a bunch of little things that I didn't really know. That kind of put me in a different place of practice and opened up my shit.
Man, that's amazing. Do you want to maybe play like one little thing before we're calling it? I thank you for sharing all this.
What were you gonna play, like a tune or something? Or
whatever you feel like. I mean,
lately I've been
something if you feel like.
Mainly I've been and if we talk about this stuff, so a lot of melodic minor stuff I've been practicing for the past couple years, because when I listen to the great players that I love, like Bob Berg or Michael Brecker, I realized transcribing that stuff that a lot of it comes from melodic minor and the different variations of breaking
superimposing the different chords on the chain.
Exactly, and for example, a concept like, okay, let's take it a simple key, like if you take like a C dominant, right, and your scale would be like C altered. softer. And another way to look at it would be, think about it as D flat melodic minor, right?
For sure.
Right? So that scale would work over C dominant, D flat minor major 7, right?
Yeah.
B flat half diminished, and E major 7 sharp 5. Right? So instead of coming up for a new scale and new exercises for each chord, you would just kind of put these 4 chords in one family and come up with different ways to break up that scale, like, right? 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 And just... Right? You know what I mean? And
right, using the triads and using the off the scale and yeah.
Exactly, and just thinking about different spots where you can start ideas, because you know, a lot of stuff, a lot of things that beginners, but not only, that we get caught up with is if we see a chord or a scale in front of us. Let's say if we see a C, so automatically we think C something, you know. And if you think about some other stuff to start with, you can get some other stuff. So I might think about the sharp 5, but G, you know, and start something there, you know. Just try to break up a scale from different places. Or if you think about triads, even start on C. You can think about any 3 notes as a triad. Like even would be a triad because it's 3 notes, so it doesn't have to be minor, major.
How do you think about that?
Like I would think about any 3 notes as a triad. So for me, that's a triad.
And then you do
that's a triad.
versions of that.
Yeah, exactly how you do with regular major triad. Right? So I would choose 2 triads within the scale, and then invert them and try to come up with... Because you hear somebody play this, you're like, what the hell is that? And it's just
I see.
You know what I mean?
So basically, you're grouping 3 notes and then you're inverting them in different ways. That's awesome.
Exactly, and then after practicing, you know, if you even change a note here and there, just come up with different ways to... That could be like a dominant, that could be like a C going to an F. And that came from that exercise. Yeah. Or if we're thinking about the same scale, D flat melodic minor or C, 7 sharp 9, and I'll go to the third, to the minor 3rd or the sharp 9, right? I go to D sharp and I'll play that that thing I showed you before. So just triads like that, or same thing. If you just want major triads, so on a C 7 sharp 9, I would go F sharp major and G sharp. I would go, you know. Just different way to think about it.
Yeah. By the way, talking about that, I know you just put out a book, right, with your some exercises. Are you talking about stuff like that as well?
No, the book we just said, Killer Walking Bass. It's all about walking bass lines. So that's a whole thing about trying to play melodic bass lines.
And what's it called if someone wants to look at it?
It's called, I have a copy right here.
Yeah, show it.
It's called Killer Walking Bass. And you can buy it on Amazon.
Uh-huh.
And right now, I think it's at a really cheap price. I think it's like $29 or something.
Killer
Walking Bass, yeah.
Dope.
But I will be shooting in a couple weeks a video for my music masterclass talking about all this stuff, a bunch of dominant lines and,
cool.
you know, talking about all this. But not just altered stuff, like a bunch of different things could be dominant. For example, do we have time for it? We should...
Man, as long as you want. I mean, I'm like, I don't want to stop you. Everything you're saying is awesome. So I'm like, yeah. But we can, you know.
Let me just do a simple loop, like. Right? So I'm always thinking about how am I getting from the dominant to the one. And it doesn't always have to be a 7 sound, like it could be an augmented sound, like, you know, or
Yeah.
like a whole tone sound.
Mhm.
It could be something else. I could play something like. You know, all that stuff. So
Yeah.
that kind of
No,
stuff.
of course. Yeah, man. Again, thank you so much for.
Yeah, this was
for
fun,
this.
man. Thank you.
Yeah. So basically, you guys have to check his music out. Like seriously, you can. He's putting an album out pretty soon. So look up for that. I'll link his YouTube and Instagram and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
and you can also link the book.
Yeah.
It's on Killer Walking Bass, and there's also a course already on my music masterclass about. It's called Swing and Electric Bass.
Cool. So I'll have you send me the links and I'll put everything so they can check it out in the
All right.
description.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, and keep an eye out for the other course that will come out soon.
And are you playing this week in town with, or
I
are
do a
you?
bunch of recording stuff. I'm not gonna.
You're heading
but
out.
I will be. I think I'm gonna do a gig at the 55 bar on the 21st,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a couple more gigs coming up in Philly and in Boston. A bunch of them is with Mike Stern, so it's gonna be on my website too. It's teymurphell.com.
Okay, so you can
And,
check
yeah.
that out. Yeah. So yeah, again, Teymur Phell,
Thanks, man.
thank you, man, so much. Always awesome to hang here and you know all
Oh,
that.
and by the way, as far as gear, let me do this now because this is important. A bunch of people who help and support and make amazing products. First of all, Mark Bass amplification. I've been using those for a couple of years now and couldn't be happier. These basses made by F Bass from Canada, which are really, really special. Especially if you want, you know, 5, 6 string basses, they're really great. And also DR strings, the strings I've been using for many years now, and they've been really good to me. And I definitely recommend those strings. I don't use anything else. I use their standard high beams, and they're amazing. So thank you, and I'm not forgetting anything. I use Asterope cables. These guys from Texas, they're really great.
Nice.
And Bose pedals, which I'm sure y'all don't need to tell you about. Everybody uses those. So thank you. I had to do this, man.
No, for sure.
Give a
This is
shout out
great.
to everybody.
Yeah.